kidogo. Well, good afternoon. Many thanks for choosing to stay with us, Younib TV. Welcome to the broadcast. This is Younib at 1. My name is Alfonsoh. Now, let's take a look at our stories this afternoon. We start with the story of Martha Karua, NARC Kenya party leader, along with several political leaders, have strongly criticized Adani's engagement with the government, raising significant concerns about its reputation and the erosion of public trust it may entail. Additionally, they have voiced a stern rebuke of President William Ruto, accusing him of not delivering on the majority of promises made to Kenyans during his 2-year tenure. Here is the comprehensive report.
NARC Kenya leader and her political counterparts have voiced significant reservations about Adani's activities within Kenya's governmental framework.
Such deals shrouded in secrecy and devoid of public scrutiny mortgage our future and place our national assets at the hands of those who do not hold Kenya's best interests at heart. We are united in demanding that the Adani deal should never come to life in this country. These agreements must be subject to rigorous examination to safeguard the interests of our people.
They argue that Adani's involvement raises serious questions about transparency, ethical standards, and potential threats to national sovereignty. The leaders contend that Adani's tarnished reputation fails to inspire confidence among Kenyans and may compromise public faith in governmental decisions involving the multinational corporation. In addition to their critique of Adani, Martha Karua and other leaders have issued a blunt assessment of President William Ruto's leadership since taking office.
A conviction rate of 12.7% for corruption cases is a travesty of justice. It sends a chilling message that those who rob the public coffers do so with impunity, shielded by networks of complicity.
When the youth stood up, stand against this regime, they were killed, they were suppressed. All our youth are at risk at the hands of this regime.
We were promised an end to cartels, but now new and old cartels reign supreme, suffocating our economy and services.
They assert that Ruto has failed to fulfill a majority of the promises he made to Kenyan voters during his electoral campaign. This alleged breach of trust, they argue, undermines the credibility of his administration and deepens public disillusionment. The leaders cite specific policy areas where Ruto's actions have purportedly diverged from his pre-election commitments, intensifying scrutiny of his tenure. Amidst their criticisms, Martha Karua and colleagues have called on the National Police to take decisive action against DIG Gilbert Masengeli. This additional demand underscores their commitment to accountability and justice within Kenya's law enforcement system.
We want to ask the National Police Commission to wake up. They are in slumber. They should sanction their employee, One Masengeli. And if they are afraid of Ruto and his regime, they should go home and not take our money for work not done.
You have police officers who are supposed to enforce court orders. Now, when they disobey court orders, what are we looking into? We are looking into a jungle country. Anarchy. We are looking into anarchy.
These statements reflect broader concerns about governance, corporate influence, and accountability in Kenya's democratic framework. Alfonsoh, Younib at 1, Nairobi.
Now, the Ketraco Adani deal valued at 94 billion shillings for constructing 422 kilometers of transmission line is currently in the draft agreement phase. This stage includes project approval and a financial risk assessment report by a negotiating team. The final clearance of the draft agreement will be handled by the Attorney General, with KETRACO presenting a notification of award to the Cabinet, as our reporter Oprah Anupi now reports.
The agreement worth 94 billion Kenya shillings between KETRACO and Adani constructing 422 kilometers of transmission lines is currently in the draft agreement phase. This stage involves crucial steps, including project approval and a financial risk assessment report prepared by a negotiating team. According to the Public-Private Partnership Act, the evaluation process for this deal must undergo 6 stages during the draft agreement phase to ensure thorough due diligence on Adani Energy Solutions Limited. Initially, Adani will submit a privately initiated proposal to KETRACO, the consulting authority acting on behalf of the state, along with the refundable review fee for at least 500 million shillings. KETRACO will then evaluate the proposal to forward it to the Public-Private Partnership Directorate for the further scrutiny and assessment in collaboration with KETRACO. Upon completion of the assessment, the Directorate will recommend either approval or disapproval of the proposal, providing a report recommendation to KETRACO. Subsequently, the Public-Private Partnership Committee will make the final decision to approve, offering guidance to the procurement method in the proposal is endorsed. In conducting due diligence on Adani Energy Solutions Limited, KETRACO must ensure that the proposal includes potential liabilities, reflects fair marketing pricing, includes all requisite supporting documents, ensure effective risk transfer, aligns with national infrastructure priorities, and guarantees value for money.
And there are steps, each step what you are supposed to do, so that the public can perceive or see what you are doing is okay. Now, if that's not done, there will be a perception, rightfully or not, there will be a perception. And it is an avenue for corruption.
Initially estimated at 130.8 billion shillings with a debt cost of 12.94% as March 8, 2024, the total project costs 94.4 billion shillings with a 9.5% debt cost as of August 28, 2024. The final clearance of the draft project agreement will be conducted by the Attorney General, with the KETRACO presenting a notification award of the Cabinet on behalf of the state.
But it also has a downside. It seems to lack competition. And what does that mean? It means you can get a PIP which is at a high price.
Reporting from Younib TV at 1, my name is Oprah Anupi.
The Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, is raising concerns about the growing backlog of pending bills in the counties. She highlights that governors are not only neglecting to settle payments with past contractors and suppliers, but are also bringing on new suppliers, exacerbating the financial crisis in the counties. Our very own reporter John Kariuki now reports.
The Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, is sounding the alarm about the escalating issue of pending bills in various counties. She reports that governors have not only neglected to pay previous contractors and suppliers, but have also continued to engage new suppliers, further complicating the situation. A recent report by Nyakango highlights that governors who took office in 2022 have failed to address existing pending bills, which have ballooned over the last 2 years. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja is facing scrutiny for increasing pending bills by Kenya shilling 19 billion within 2 years. Upon taking office, he inherited Kenya shilling 99 billion in pending bills, which have now risen to Kenya shilling 118.4 billion. Mandera Governor Adan Khalif, who inherited Kenya shilling 5 million in pending bills, now faces a staggering Kenya shilling 2.2 billion in unpaid debts after just 24 months. Similarly, Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti started with Kenya shilling 8 or 9 million in unpaid bills. but has added Kenya shilling 3.4 billion more instead of settling the existing debts. The report also highlights Mombasa, Bungoma, and Kisumu counties as the areas experiencing significant pending bills. As the pile of pending bills continues to grow, revenue collection at the county level remains underwhelming. Kiambu County leads in revenue collection, with Governor Wamatangi's administration raising Kenya shilling 4.6 billion in 2023. A notable increase from the Kenya shilling 3.1 billion collected by the previous administration during the same period. Narok Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu has also improved his county's revenue, achieving 95% of its target with Kenya shilling 4.7 billion collected, marking an increase of Kenya shilling 3.3 billion. However, several counties, including Machakos, Mandera, Nyamira, Kajiado, Bungoma, and Busia, have failed to meet their revenue collection goals. In light of these challenges, the Controller of Budget is urging counties to enhance their own source revenue collection to address the mounting pending bills.
Hillside and Arusha Academy in Nyeri will reopen once the management complies with the Ministry of Education's infrastructure guidelines. Following the fire tragedy at the school, a committee has suggested reducing the number of boarders to alleviate overcrowding. All timber structures must be removed and all boarding requirements addressed before the school can resume operations. Here's Robert Smoke with more details.
Hillside and Arusha Academy in Nyeri is on track to reopen, pending adherence to the Ministry of Education's infrastructure guidelines. This follows recommendations from a committee established after a tragic fire incident at the school. To ensure safety and reduce overcrowding, the committee has advised that the number of boarding students be decreased.
At the moment, what is happening, all the evidence which has been collected by the NDCI, they have now gone to analysis of the same, and within the shortest time possible, they will be able to bring up a report.
Additionally, all timber structures will need to be removed and the school must meet specific boarding requirements before reopening. According to the Acting Regional Commissioner for the Central Region, Pius Murugu, the school could be ready to welcome students back in about 2 weeks if all conditions are satisfied. The ministry has set strict standards. Dormitory beds must be spaced at least 1.2 meters apart. Corridors should be no less than 2 meters wide, and dormitory doorways must be a minimum of 5 feet wide, opening outward. Each dormitory needs 2 doors at either end and an emergency exit in the center, clearly labeled.
By next week, we shall be able to conclude the barrier arrangements for everybody, so that now, after 1 week, the other week, we shall be able to see how the school will be reopened afresh. We, of course, with the consultation of even the parents and all the other stakeholders who will be involved in the opening of the same.
Moreover, fire safety measures are crucial, with each dormitory required to have a fire extinguisher at the exit and fire alarms installed. Teachers and staff will conduct regular checks to ensure safety protocols are followed before students go to bed.
Deputy County Commissioner who is here, she has a team on the ground, and that team will be able to see the timelines for the exam, so that as soon as possible, those KPSEA candidates can be able to return back to school and continue with the normal learning.
Priority for reopening will be given to junior secondary students who will be taking their NEC KPSEA examinations shortly. New facilities intended for grade 9 students next year will also be used, along with plans for school buses to help ease congestion. In a show of support for those affected by the fire, the government has pledged to cover all burial costs for the victims and provide assistance to students who lost their belongings. A requiem mass for those who lost their lives is scheduled for next week. Reporting for Younib TV Live at 1, my name is Eunice Mutua.
Now, on to a somber story. A family from Siaya County is urging for a comprehensive investigation into the death of their relative, John Mark Ombok. a Form 2 student at Friends School, Kamusinga. Ombok tragically died after falling into a septic tank on Sunday, contrary to the initial reports of suicide, which witnesses dispute. The family alleges a cover-up by the school and points to negligence on the part of the management. They are calling on authorities to thoroughly examine the circumstances surrounding the incident and to ensure stringent safety measures are in place for all students at the school.
The boys said we went to the toilet, we were many, we were queuing, then we took a little longer. After taking a long time, teacher started chasing us with a stick and we started running. John Mark being one of them, he stepped on the septic and John Mark slipped inside the septic.
They had actually claimed that the child threw himself into this pit. But then when you go to the pit, clearly it is an evidence of negligence and it is an open place that cannot warrant a suicide case.
The school should come out, accept that they did not do their due diligence on living with the children in school with a septic tank that is widely open without a cover. I told them that this one should come out clearly.
For the Friends School Kamusinga fraternity, we are very sorry for what happened and to our parents for having lost one of our promising students, and we hope to give a full report once the investigations are completed.
Them that this one should come out clearly.
For the Friends School Kamusinga fraternity, we are very sorry for what happened and to our parents for having lost one of our promising students, and we hope to give a full report once the investigations are completed. And we hope to give a full report once the investigations are completed.
Then we took a little longer. After taking a long time, teacher started chasing us with a stick and we started running. John Mark being one of them, he stepped on the septic and John Mark slipped inside the septic.
They had actually claimed that the child threw himself into this pit. But then when you go to the pit, clearly it is an evidence of negligence and it is an open place that cannot warrant a suicide case.
The school should come out, accept that they did not do their due diligence on living with the children in school with a septic tank that is widely open without a cover. I told them that this one should come out clearly.
For the Friends School Kamusinga fraternity, we are very sorry for what happened and to our parents for having lost one of our promising students, and we hope to give a full report once the investigations are completed.
Now let's take a look at some sporting action. The Kenya Under-17 Women's Squad Junior Starlets held their final practice before leaving for Spain on Thursday. Now, the team will camp in Spain for 11 days before traveling to the Dominican Republic on October 1st. Coach Mil Cher says the camp in Spain comes at the perfect time because the technical bench made adjustments in several areas that bridged the gaps during the World Cup qualifiers.
All teams at the World Cup, they're extremely good, and not just in our own group, not just England, Korea, DPR, or Mexico. All of the teams that are participating at the World Cup, they're really good. Being our first times, most people see us as underdogs, but I take it as an advantage because no one knows how we play, and whoever we are playing, we will be up for the task.
Well, that's all we had for you in today's Younib at 1. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with Younib TV and particularly Younib at 1. Many thanks goes to all those who made this broadcast a success. Behind the lens, John Kariuki, the Chief Controller Anifa Kavira, and the super duper director Robert Smoke. See you tomorrow, same time, same place for the morning momentum. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. I have been your host, Alfonsoh Oma.